if all of you could come here and introduce yourselves. Right. Okay. So I can say a few introductions. So, hi, Mohammed. He's a computer scientist from Pakistan. Welcome to the webinar. Hi, Vishwanath. Thank you for introducing yourself. Hi, Diane. She's a product manager. So then there's Lisa, and she's from Chicago, and she is currently working in as a project and program manager, and she's in transition. Wonderful to have you here. Hi, Sebastian from Dubai. Hi, Rose. She's an operations manager. Hi, Gentry King. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Okay, and there are a few more. Hi, Deepak. He is a project manager from India. Hi, Nicole from Chicago. Hi, Stephanie from Chicago. So we have a lot of people joining us from different parts of the world. Hi, Ram from New York. Uh, Hi, Shrikant, Program and Development Manager, Bangalore. Wonderful. So I think we are also live on YouTube and LinkedIn. So if you are joining us from any of these platforms, please go ahead and introduce yourselves in the chat. We love getting to know our audience, and it's wonderful to see such great introductions. Hi, Shrikant. Okay, so some questions about certificates already. I will cover that in the coming slides. Let's focus on the webinar. We will anyway share the certificate. I hope that answers your question. Right. All right. So it's time to start the webinar. So before we begin, I just wanted to quickly introduce myself as well. I'm Shweta, and I'm going to be your host for today's webinar. And as you all know, now there are a lot of changes happening in project management space. There are people who are confused about the direction that they need to take. They're wondering if they have to choose tech, product, or change. And even though these roles sound very similar, they are actually very different, which requires different mindset, skills, and also career decisions. So today's session is about helping you make that choice with clarity. And before we go further, I do want to quickly address a small change. So Matt, who was originally scheduled to lead the session, unfortunately couldn't make it today due to unforeseen circumstances. While we have missed having him here, I'm genuinely excited about who we do have with us. So joining us today is Tim Jerome. So Tim is presently is somebody I personally look up to, and I will surely give his introduction in a while. And I'm sure a few of you would have already attended his webinars with us as well. So this is going to be a really interesting session. And without taking much of your time, I'll introduce you to some of our ground rules for today's webinar as usual. If you have any questions related to any of the topics that we are talking about, please post them in the Q&A box. If you share your questions in the chat box, it is highly likely that we might miss out on your questions because of the number of messages that we receive. Please use the chat box effectively, and let's keep the conversations related to today's topic. If you have any questions around the topic that we're discussing, we're more than happy to address those, right? And for the attendance certificate, you will have to enter your full name in the poll that we will be sharing at the end of the webinar. And I hope that answers your question. I saw a comment in the chat about the certificate of participation. But again, that will be shared towards the end of the webinar. So these are some of the ground rules that we have. And before we go ahead, I just wanted to check how many of you have attended webinars with Simplilearn before. Is this your first time, or have you joined us before? Please let us know in the chat. If it's your first time, you can just mention first. If not, you can. Okay, so a lot of first timers this time. Wonderful to see that. First. Okay. Uh, a few of them joining us again. So, anyone who is joining us again, thank you for coming back to us and for attending another webinar. For anyone who has joined us for the very first time, it's wonderful to have you all with us. It's a privilege to have so many people from different parts of the world join us. So, I'll just take 2 minutes and let you know about Simply Learn and what we do. We actually help our learners transform their lives by empowering them with digital skills, and we do these through courses. We have currently helped over 8 million learners advance their careers across 150 plus countries, and we do this through global partnerships with some universities and also industry partners like Google, Microsoft. Today's program is in partnership with Virginia Tech, about which we will be talking about in the coming slides as well. Uh, a few insights that we wanted to share with all of you. These were also shared by our alumni members who've completed courses with us. So they have reported a 50% salary hike on completing courses with Simplilearn. We have also been rated 4.8 out of 5 by most of our learners, which talks about the kind of learning experience that you can expect with us and also from our webinars. We also do have a graduation rate of 80%, which also points out that we do focus a lot on the learner experience from Simplilearn side. So this is about Simplilearn. I hope all of you have a fair understanding of Simplilearn and what we do. And that brings me to today's agenda and what we are going to cover. Right. So before we dive in, so I'll just quickly set the context. So we are going to start by looking at why project management careers have changed in the first place. If you feel that the role today looks very different from what it was even 5 or 6 years ago, you are absolutely right. And we will talk about this in the coming slides. Then we're going to break down today's project management career paths. We're going to talk about product technology and change management. And we will also speak very clearly on how they are different and how you can choose the kind of career path that is more suited for you. From there, the focus is going to be about how and which project management path fits you based on your background, strengths, and where you want your career to go. Not just about the market and what's performing, but based on your skills. So there's like a quick activity also that we have as a part of today's webinar. We are also going to be spending time on skills, experience, and career growth. So, what really matters at different stages and what can help you move forward instead of staying stuck in the same role. And a question many of you probably have is, where does PMP fit into all of this? So we are going to cover how PMP supports different project management paths and how you can use it in your personal and professional life as well. And finally, we are going to talk about the project management course offered by Simplilearn. And then we'll wrap up with time for some questions. So please share your questions in the chat, in the Q&A box, and we will surely address them either at the end or during the slide that is addressing your question. Right. And that brings me also to one of my favorite parts of the webinar. So introducing our guest speaker. And I'm very happy to introduce Timothy Jerome. And Tim is, like I mentioned, somebody I really look up to and have learned a lot from. So Tim is a highly respected project manager, management professional with over 25 years of global experience across IT transformation, data centers, enterprise systems, security, and also large scale business initiatives. He has been a part of the PMI community for over 2 decades now and has held PMP credentials since 2003, back when project management was very different from what it is today. Also, one major reason why he can talk about how PMP project management has evolved over the years. And additionally, what I really admire about him is his ability to connect real world project experiences with practical guidance. And this is also because he has mentored and trained more than 14,000 project managers, working closely with universities, professional training organizations, and also with PMI itself to shape how project management is taught and also practiced. So this is going to be a wonderful webinar. We're going to get a lot of insights from Tim, and I'm sure everyone is waiting to hear more from Tim himself. So, Tim, once again, welcome to today's webinar and thank you for joining us. It would be great if you could introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you very much, and good day, everyone. I don't know what I can add to that, but let me tell you a little story, okay? I was 9 years old back in the late 1960s, and I was offered an opportunity to take summer school classes at 9 years old at the university, and they were training us actually as children to learn how to write programs, and this was a machine called a PDP-9. They had just replaced the older version of it, and it was going up to an 8-bit computer, right? And it was fascinating. And you work on a typewriter over here. Well, you can imagine, now we have multiple processors. Instead of 8 bits, we're working with 64 bits, and we have 16, 32, or 64 bits, even in laptops. So I've seen the world change. Not only that, but in transportation, I was working in helping the company I'd hired for to move into an IT help desk model and centralize their computing capacity, like we saw it happen in the late 1990s and early 2000s. And then I worked to the an IT director position, and then I went in as a consultant through a major production company. And so I've seen the transition, and then 2000 to 2010. Oh, what an earthquake we all experienced. And you know where we are now. The velocity of change, the need for different skills. It looks like it hits us every what? Change happens every 6 months to a year, not just 3 years, 5 years, and 7 years. And so how do we sort out all of these confusing, you know, the confusing information that's hitting us constantly to be able to figure out what path do I as a professional need to make to stay relevant and actually have a career that lasts more than 2 years.
Right. I'm sure that now everyone has a good understanding of your background and the kind of experience that you bring into today's webinar. So I think it's time for us to like get to the point and about the project management career landscape that's out there. One thing that we commonly see is that people choose project management as a career, and sometimes after 3 to 5 years, they feel like it's a mistake. Probably they didn't choose the right career path within project management itself. So, what are some of the common mistakes you see people make while choosing a role in project management, and what are your experiences with learners over the years?
So in 1992, my supervisor said, Tim, here's a project. Go forth, be successful, and I'll watch your back. I'll help you, right? And it was a wonderful experience because he was there along the way. But at the same time, it was project management. And so at the end of 3 to 5 years, I said, I have project management. What do I do now? I can manage schedules, I can manage budgets, I can facilitate meetings and organize data. Is that all there is? And he laughed. And he said, Tim, this is just the beginning. And he opened up the world to, things like working with people, how to work with difficult relationships as well as easy relationships, and how to work with business and how business works. And his knowledge was a foundation for me going into my undergraduate program and then my graduate program. It's not just and that's the problem with project management. It's twofold. Number one, we think that it's what my co-author Merv said, arts and charts, right? It's basically keeping the data straight, but at the same time, the harder skills are the human skills and the ability to engage people and get people to work as a group.
Right. Yeah, that is actually great insight. Those are some amazing insights also about how things have changed over time and some of the mistakes that people make. I think it's also about how they perceive project management to be initially, like you mentioned, right? So before we get into details of the different project management roles out there, I want to take a step back for a moment. A lot of people here, or I don't know if they can relate, but they would have started their careers when project management felt more predictable. Like you have a plan, you follow it, and then you deliver what's exactly asked for. But today, that's not the reality anymore. And from what you have seen over the years, working with project managers across industries, what do you think has changed the most in the last decade? And what has project management role evolved into today? We would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Hmm. Let me add a little fuel to the conversation here. One of the other things that I actually observed when I was a consulting project manager and moving into quality management in the late first decade of the 21st century, one of the things that I realized was that project management didn't seem to be a focus to my directors. They said it's just an adjunct. And I was wondering why I didn't do it. And it why couldn't I build a career just on project management itself? Because I was really good at it. And it's because, again, one of my supervisors directors said, it's what helps us give our objective. It's what helps us give our mission, the direction, and the guarantee that we're going to get something out of it. As it's not a direct career path, it actually helps careers really well move forward. That was the big aha in the first decade of the 21st century for me.
Right, that's wonderful to know, and thanks for sharing that with us. It has been of great value to the audience as well, and also because you did clearly mention how it has changed. What does the project management career landscape look like today for someone who is stepping into this profession? Also, something a lot of people have asked us even before the webinar. How can they know if this is the right career path? What are the opportunities that are out there for freshers or someone just starting to think about project management?
So the question is, how do I stay relevant? How do I stay so I can have a sense of confidence that I'm going to be getting a paycheck the next 6 months and year and 2 years? And the problem is the project management role itself is going in so many directions. Like you said, we have this component of agile. Basically, we have to face uncertainty in self instead of working with individual products and services. And let's talk about products too. And when you talk to a business manager, they're not going to talk about project management. They're going to be talking about product management because that's what generates revenue directly for a company. So the other two pieces are actually part of project management itself. Number one, we're looking at, you know, we're looking at technology advancing so quickly, and that's making systems and components really difficult to work with. And so project management, a very deliberate manner in how we understand a problem and solve it, have to happen. And it's not just one market. It's across all industries. It's a societal thing, and it's not just one society. All the planet is feeling like, for instance, artificial intelligence. All the planet's feeling repercussions of the advancement of AI, but at the same time, companies don't have a job title project manager usually. They have product owner or product manager or business manager. And so we're having to figure out, how does project management fit within all these components?
Right, exactly. And that's a very important point. You did speak about technology, and with so many roles that are out there, project management in itself is evolving. And it could be quite confusing for someone outside of project management to figure out where or what kind of role that they have to choose. So, the major question here is, with so many new roles emerging, also with technology and AI, how does someone actually figure out which path is right for them? And not just what's popular and what has scope. So that those are some questions that people are more inclined to. So how do they understand which role aligns with their strengths, and how can they choose that?
Oh, that's such a good question. First of all, I really appreciate the fact that we have an opportunity in this presentation to step back and see how these project management roles are different. And like I said, there's various components. First of all, different ways of working. Like I said, if you have a specific outcome that you have and you're looking for, it's easy to build a plan, state of the plan, and make it happen. But that's not the way work's going now because it's like the development of AI. They put three pieces together, machine language and large language models, and then they put a user interface that they call a GPT and throw it together, and all of a sudden magic occurs, right? This is if you read the authoritative history of artificial intelligence, they didn't realize what they had until they started playing with it. It's amazing. And so when we have that, we can't actually have a definitive outcome, and we have to take advantage of things along the way. And again, when you look at a business making money, generating revenue, we have to realize also in a business context, they're looking at a product and they're questioning this idea that's going to be a future product. How do we turn it into a physical thing so we can get feedback on it? How can we turn that physical thing into something that people really want? And so when you look at that from the perspective of business owners who are thinking, well, these are the questions that are relevant. And if I want to remain relevant, this is the type of attitude and mindset that I have. And then we have also this role of the product owner. This came up in when we started talking about adaptive methods, which Agile is one of them. A product owner is somebody who looks at the life of the product, turning that idea to something physical to actually deploy it into the market or even into operations, and then manage and maintain that until they need to remove it. Now, the technical management is really interesting. I have so many questions from my students. What's the difference between a technical project manager and a and a regular project manager? Can a project manager not be technically focused? And actually, businesses over and over choose to have somebody who's a frontline manager managing teams, who has an understanding of technology, but also has an understanding of the processes and the human behavior you need to get things done. And then finally, change management. I go back to one of the stories I had with my clients back in 2005 or 2006. The CIO was looking at a data center transformation proposal I and a couple engineers had put together. And he said, Tim, we're not ready for this. It's going to take 9 months to prepare our people. And you have to be patient with us because only if we do that we'll be successful. And so all of these things are hitting us. And this is not something that was hidden or didn't exist back in the 1970s, 80s, or 90s. You can see it starting to build, and all of a sudden, boom, it's in our laps here for the last 15 years. And it's only going to become more clear.
Right. Thank you for clearly explaining the differences between some of the key roles in project management and also for sharing some of the examples over the years of experiences that you've had. I'm sure it has been incredibly helpful to all the participants who were looking forward to having some clarity on the key differences. And as we already spoke about this, it would be great if you could also explain briefly the skills required for each role and how one can choose a role based on their skill set that they currently have.
Yes. Now, before we do that, Shancock at caseburst.go, right? You
Yes.
asked a question over in the webinar chat, and I'm going to save that chat, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later, okay? That's an important question. It looks like these are software oriented. Um, and what about construction manufacturing? We'll get to that. But honestly, which project management career path matches your skills fit? It depends, right? Like one of my mentors in 2000 who helped me, transition into consulting, he was a product manager inside of a manufacturing company. This is fascinating for a lot of people. It's a lot of, busy work if it doesn't suit your the way you like to work though. I've seen that with people who like product management and then people who don't. And on top of change management, the idea of human behavior seems so alien. There is a very strong message for the last 30 years that if we don't start treating people well and understanding human behavior and build that into the management of the work, that we're going to continue to hurt the very people who are helping companies prosper. And this is something the Project Management Institute's been talking about since 2015. Project management skills have not gone away. In fact, in the PMP courses that we teach here at Simplilearn, we can actually show not just evidence, but actual representation that we do something called earned value management, which is a bunch of math to analyze and make decisions about projects, not just in traditional or predictive projects, but we can even do it in Agile. And then on top of that, the technical PM skills. This is the big question. Where do I go? What do I do to study and understand the direction we need to go for me to stay relevant, especially if my company says you are going to be a technical project manager?
Right. Those are, yeah, those are some really important points that you mentioned over here. And I'm also curious to see if the audience has some insights on the skills that they currently have, right? You already spoke about the differences and a few skills that are important. Could you all just take a look at the screen and let us know if you feel any of the things mentioned on the skill matches your skill set currently? Like, are you more inclined to project management or technical project management based on your current skills? Please do let us know in the chat. We would really love to see your inputs on all of these. I have opened the chat for everyone, so please go ahead. Okay, Stephanie says change management. That's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. What about the others? We would really like to see your. Okay, I can see a lot of people
Wow.
saying project management and also technical management. Okay, some very specific project management and change management in the software space, change management, a lot of interest towards change management and technical project management. What are your thoughts on this, Tim?
Well, so let's think about this really carefully. It really depends on the industry that you're driven to, like healthcare, right? I work with the health science department at the local university with projects and project management. They're really interested in change management because they're incredibly people facing. And if you're drawn to healthcare, you're going to be looking at change management to make sure that not just the people in hospitals, aren't affected by the changes, but also the people who are administering and maintaining and doing the work. Let's talk and let's answer that question about it feels like these are very software oriented. What about construction and manufacturing? Well, manufacturing, I have a personal experience with as an employee. And they were saying back in 2005, we have to come up with better, bigger, and broader ideas, and we have to get them to market quicker. And how do we do this? And they were looking not just at the product designers, but they were looking at the product owners and the program managers and the project managers to facilitate this acceleration. When we talk about construction, construction has two components. Number one, you have, the whole idea of you have to follow code and regulations and laws, which is traditional and predictive. But then you have components that, people move into commercial buildings or they buy a house and it may not suit them exactly. And it's not that people are more demanding, but the people who are building homes and building commercial buildings are realize if they need to be successful, they have to be, more sensitive to change. Where in the past we've said this is what you have. This is one of the emotional components that we have realized is with us, not just for the time being, but moving forward.
Right. Thank you so much for clarifying that. And a major part of project management also comes with understanding people, like you always highlight. And I think that that is a very important part of project management in general. So now that everyone has spoken about their interests and skills and what career path aligns based on their skills, I think it's also time for us to talk about the tools, certifications, and experience required for all the different roles within project management space itself. And this is something that we commonly see a lot of people interested in a specific role, but who do not have clarity on the kind of certifications or tools that they have to master to be on top of their field. So, Tim, it would be great if you could share some of your tips on how they can build a good portfolio based on the certifications, skills, and the tools that they can use.
So it's smart. It's really smart to focus on project management. We start off in our youth saying education is great, and it is. It gets us on a path. We don't realize that we can change that path if we want. One of my friends at the university has written 10 books and about 85 white papers. And he's incredibly brilliant, but he didn't start off as a project management person. He started off in biology. It's finding out what you're curious and what you're concerned about. Curiosity always drives us where confidence doesn't work. What am I interested in? Because you're going to invest more time and effort in those things. And concern, we know that we all work with that level of stress, say if I don't do this. Um, it can be negative, but at the same time, it's something that actually helps us stay on track and within guardrails. Now, when we talk about technical project management, we are talking about certifications, but we're also talking about the technology. And we have to realize that these things like Azure and Jira and designing system tools and other tools that we have are going to be changing just as we are changing. So we have to be very adaptable to that. I'm not talking about, throwing away your biology degree and moving into project management because you're going to find out, as you progress in your career, these things add context and understanding to a lot of the people that you're going to be interacting with. With product management and change management, I cannot speak enough of that. Understanding business and the flow of business and how your business looks at generating revenue and measuring success, that has to be something in everybody's work. And so as we learn as project managers, we align our success of our project with the business, and that makes us more relevant if we can understand how that connection work and what is our role in the company's success. And then finally, change management. This is a really big component here. Like a lot of people are saying here, um, change is something that affects people, individuals, and groups. And if we want to be more successful, we have to be more proactive, not just in preparing the technology, but preparing the people and the environment for change. You know this, right? Marketing in Apple and Nike and Intel and Oracle and all the corporations do this really well right now. They give you little hints to start your curiosity. They say, this is the direction we think we're going, and they get feedback from. And this is the thing that you are going to see. It's not just understanding the business process, but the understanding of how to prepare people to think about things in a different way inside the company, as employees, but also outside the company as people who are going to pay for the products and services the company's going to be. Yeah, this is a really good slide to be thinking about.
Thank you for sharing your perspectives on that and also for clearly telling us how these roles are also going to evolve with time, right? With technology coming in, all of these things are going to evolve. And we can surely see the excitement of the audience towards change management, which is also a great insight from today's webinar.
Yes.
So we hope this slide gives you guys some clarity on the kind of tools, certifications, and experience required for each role that you have. I can also see a few questions about the kind of roles that you need to choose. I can see a very a specific question from Sakshi as well. Sakshi, we will take this up in the Q&A section because I think Tim will have to take out some time to address this question. So we will surely answer your question in the towards the end of the webinar. Before that, we also have an interesting activity for all the participants here. It's about finding your perfect project management fit. It's not something that we've done before, but something that we wanted to check with all of you guys. So there are a few questions. So we have 6 questions here. And what we want you to do is make a note of your options, whatever option that you're choosing. Is it A, B, C, or D? And depending on the pattern of your choices, we will let you know the kind of project management role that fits you best. So you can either keep it in the chat or write it somewhere. So I'll just read out the questions and you can let us know what your thoughts are or what your preferences are. So the first question we have for you is, when you start a new project, what excites you the most? Is it creating a clear plan, timeline, and milestones, or is it deciding what to build and why it matters? Option A is if you're interested in understanding systems, APIs, and technical constraints, or are you someone who is interested in getting people aligned and excited about change? So, whatever your answers are, you can also let us know in the chat. I will just open the chat to everyone so everyone can see your preferences. So what would you all opt? Is it A, B, C, or D? When you start a new project, what would excite you the most? B. A lot of a few A's and a lot of B's. Okay. All right, so I think it's and a few of them saying D. Okay, I can see a lot of responses. So I'll move on to the second question. Again, please keep a note of your responses. We will be covering that in the upcoming slides. So next question is, in meetings, are you are usually the one who A, keeps things on track and captures action items, or are you someone who asks tough prioritization questions? Option C, digs into feasibility and edge cases, or option D, reads the room and brings people together. So, what best describes you from this? For two, all of the above. Oh, that's very interesting. I think it's Nicole who mentioned she has all 4 qualities. That's great. That's wonderful to know, right? Okay. So I'll move on to the next question. How do you feel about ambiguity? Option A, not a fan. I like clarity and defined processes. Option B, I'm okay with it if I can shape direction. Option C, I'm comfortable as long as the logic makes sense. D, ambiguity is fine if stakeholders are engaged. For the third one, I can see a lot of C's, a few C's, D, multiple responses. I am losing track of it. Okay, you guys should keep a track of your responses. All right. So just 3 more questions to go. The fourth question is, when success is celebrated, you feel most proud when the project was delivered smoothly with minimal surprises. Option B, the product clearly moved the needle on business or user goals. Option C, a complex technical challenge was solved elegantly. And option D, people embraced the change and actually used what delivered. Okay, I can see D's and E's for this. All right. Thanks for your answers, everyone. Wonderful to see the kind of engagement. 2 more questions to go. So the fifth question is, what kind of a problem do you enjoy solving the most? Is it how do we deliver this on time and on budget? Option B is what's the right thing to build right now? Option C, how do we make this work technically? And option D is, how do we get people to adopt this change? Let us know your answers. Okay. A lot of C's I can see. Okay. So how do we make this work technically is of interest to a lot of people. Okay. And a few are saying, what's the right thing to build right now? Great ways of thinking, an interesting audience here. And moving on to the last question, your biggest professional strength is option A, organization and execution, option B, strategic thinking and decision making, C, technical depth and problem solving, or D, communication and influence. So, what are your strengths, guys? This is a very interesting question. We would also love to see what your strengths are. So, a few of them are saying technical depth and problem solving. A is organization and execution. Okay, multiple skills. B and D, all of the above. I really find it interesting to have people say all of the above, right? So I will quickly take you to the next slide on the results, right? So if you are someone who has mostly chosen A's, then you would be really good as a project manager. This is what inclines with your skill set and your strengths, right? So if you are someone who thrives on structure, predictability, and execution, you would have possibly chosen mostly A's. So this is something. This is not the exact answer. Like this, we just want to give you some direction to think about. Right, you can definitely do your own research and find an understanding about what kind of role matches you. But if you're someone who chose mostly B's, then you should consider product management, and that is because you like prioritization strategy. That's just the way you think. If you think that is the one that you can relate to the most, then that is the career path that you should be exploring more. And if you are someone who has chosen mostly C's, then you should think about technical product manager roles, and you will be someone who is energized by complex systems and resolving challenges. So you will be the bridge between engineering and business. And finally, if you chose mostly D's, then you should consider change management, because it is all about influence, adoption, alignment, and also you will be focusing on the human side of transformation involving with a lot of people. So this was just an activity that we wanted to give you all to just give you a fair understanding of what your strengths or what your interest could be aligned to, right?
Shweta,
Okay.
Can I actually add to what you said here? And I
Yes,
think
please.
it'll help our audience really well. Okay.
Yes.
So when we talk about these quick tests that are high level, um, inside of our PMP preparation classes, we say these are not predictors of your future. They give you a snapshot of where your attitude and your mindset is right today. But what this does is help you understand how you're thinking about things today. So as we move forward, things are going to change. And demands on us all are going to change. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 3 to 5 years. I'm in the same boat as you. But what we can say is today, these are my strengths. What do I see the people in my work environment talking about? What do I see executives telling the workers? What do I see the public voice focusing on? And so it gives me an indication of the direction we can go. And even understanding things like how to motivate and influence groups and individuals and human behavior. This is a learnable set of what we call attributes and skills and knowledge, competencies. And so it gives you an understanding of a potential roadmap of what you can do if you want to stay where you are today and the future, or if you want to break out. Again, this is just a snapshot of where you today. It just is where your current curiosity and interest. It's a great start. It's a great start. And then you can start thinking about where do I want to go to think about this.
Yes, thank you for adding that, Tim. I think that also gives everyone good clarity and context of what we were trying to achieve with this activity and with these slides. So again, like Tim mentioned, a good starting point for anyone thinking about changing their career or deciding on a role within project management. Right. So now let's move on to another important aspect, and that is about the roles that PMP prepares you for. So we are going to be talking about professional certificate program in project management. But before that, Tim, could you also tell our audience about the kind of roles one can get into once they complete their project management certification?
Oh boy. You see a laundry list here. This is like the world's greatest set of opportunities, right? As with the project management knowledge and experience, you can take it in so many different directions. A lot of corporations do have formal project manager roles, and that means they'll have a project manager one, two, or three, or a senior project manager, and a program manager too, where you manage groups of projects. Delivery managers and portfolio coordinators. A lot of the people I work with also are PMO directors who have not just an understanding of project management, but it allows you to work more directly with the executives and decision makers to shape how project management is used within the organization or the business group. And then the big things on the lower hand side, change managers and transformation program leads. Some companies call these admins. Really, I've seen some of the greatest admins that I've worked with were called into a major project to help us understand the culture of the corporation and that kind of thing. So as you're seeing here, project management is a broad set of skills and knowledge, but at the same time, if you understand the individual skills and knowledge and how they work together, you can actually shape this toolkit that we have to fit the needs of where you are today and also be able to use them in the future. It's like having a tool shed of multiple tools, not just like a shovel or a
Right.
rake. You have a whole set of tools, and that's what I like about project management.
Right. Thank you for explaining that in detail and in depth, and also for covering almost all the roles that one can get into if they complete the certification. I think I found an interesting question which I want to quickly pass on to you because we are talking about project management and the roles out there. So, Rashmi has a question and she's asking how AI is impacting all of these areas in project management.
Oh, good golly. Okay, so we had AI as this thing that was being developed. Like I said, back in 2000 to 2002, the corporation I was working with was using one piece of AI called machine language to recognize boxes and what's a good box and what's a bad box. What's a box that can just automatically go through our system, and what's a box that has to have human touch, right? And they were doing that back then. But all of a sudden, the pieces came together, and we've seen this in the last 3 to 5 years, and it has hit the public eye, and everybody is seeing this. And the problem is, it hits it in a place where we think is very human, right? It's collecting data very quickly from a large set of data and then organizing it in a meaningful manner. And the problem is that we're just realizing now that this doesn't take the human out of the process. And what we're seeing a focus where even college students are able to collect and analyze data where a graduate, a master's graduate, would be doing this work nights on edge, and I can do it in 10 or 15 minutes and have a computer do it, right? But that doesn't get rid of the role of a worker or a professional or a project manager. We still have to validate that. And how do we apply it in our work environment to be successful? So AI is a great adjunct right now that we're discovering. Now, one of the other things that we're talking about in the AI community as well as in business is that artificial intelligence has to consider ethics. Are we doing this correctly? And there's a lot of research that's came out in the last 2 years over in the European Union. And the United States is talking about this publicly as well. How do we do this in a meaningful manner that doesn't hurt people and it doesn't get rid of careers where people can make good money?
Right. And thank you for explaining that in detail and also for assuring all of us that even though AI came into the picture and is going to be a part of work from now on and has changed how we perceive work and all, in almost all the fields, it does not always replace humans. And it's a major part of project management to interact with people, to understand them better, and to lead them as well. So that's a component that will always exist, and it is not always going to replace you, especially in the field of project management, because it cannot always think like a project manager and take the decisions that a human in the form of a project manager would do. Right. So these are some, and I can see some more wonderful questions. Unfortunately, in the interest of time, we will surely take this up. I think there's a question from MSN Murthy. I'm not sure if I'm calling the right name, but we will take this question up in the Q&A section. So please wait with us for a while. Because I think we have also promised our audience an exam prep strategy for PMP if they are interested in this field and want to explore further. So, Tim, could you briefly explain how one can clear this exam and how much time would it take for someone to really prepare for the PMP certification?
Okay, so in order to apply to even take the exam, you need about 35 hours of some formal training. And this is what I've been helping Simplilearn since 2013. How do I actually structure this? How do I organize the data? What information do I need to put together? Because if you've been a worker inside of a company for 3 to 5 years, you've touched aspects of this, and this just formalizes that. And so we talk about that, some type of foundation and growth and putting this together. And it's not just the skills and knowledge, it's the attitude, the principles, and the mindset. And then we actually look at not just traditional project management. We're looking at adaptive methods, which include iterative and incremental. You put those two together, and we call that Agile. And we have to understand, how do I schedule? How do I plan? How do I make changes inside of an uncertain project? And this actually is an eye opener for many of my students. And then we get into scenarios. The exam for the PMP is about situations, and it puts you in the position of the decision maker. And how, as I, a project manager, make decisions? So there's a lot of practice that you have that you look at, and again, you're understanding where you're uncertain. And we use project management skills to analyze the progress, and we look at the questions we get wrong, and that's where you focus on your study. And then through, excuse me, mock exams and learning things about yourself and your own personal behavior in test environments, like distraction, losing focus, time management, and this acquisition of confidence that you go through going through many, many practice questions. And then at that point, you reach a certain point where you say, I am ready for the exam. And with the PMP prep that we teach, we often have an opportunity to help you with this methodology and put something together that you can actually work very effectively with for your personal experience.
Thank you for explaining that in detail. And we hope that you got a clarity on how the exam, how you can prepare for the PMP exam, and how Simplilearn can also help you in the process, right? So now we spoke a lot about project management, the roles that are out there, skills, tools, certifications, all of that. And so we think this is the right time to talk about the professional certificate program in project management offered by Virginia Tech. So Simplilearn is offering this in partnership with Virginia Tech, and we just wanted to quickly share some key highlights of the program with you. If you are somebody who is interested to take up project management, or you are planning to transition, this course has it all. This certification program covers a lot of other aspects which are not just about exam prep, but a lot more from that, right? So I'm going to quickly tell you the key highlights. I won't take much time, you can believe me on that. So first, you're going to earn 146 PDUs for your PMI related certifications, which also includes 35 contact hours and 4 simulation exams. So this is designed to help you clear the PMP exam. And these are also very important because this does not just help you to prepare for the exam, but also have a very good learning experience, right? Our program is also led by industry experts and certified instructors like Tim, who has taken up this webinar. So their practical experience and insights are also very important in bridging this gap of the theoretical knowledge that you have and also real world application, because project management is about real world application, and that is something that we really focus on. Apart from that, you will also engage with capstone projects across 3 domains, and this includes 4 Harvard case studies, 17 hands on projects, and more than 15 simulation exams as well. So, we give a lot of importance to the hands on approach, and to ensure that you gain practical skills for different scenarios that you may come across as project managers. In addition, you will also have access to digital materials from PMI, including audio-visual content, ebooks, and assessments as well. Upon completion, you will also earn a prestigious program completion certificate and a digital badge from Virginia Tech, enhancing your professional credentials. You already know it's an amazing university to be a part of. We also offer exclusive modules on the latest AI trends. Also, a question that was asked about how AI is changing. This is a part of the program. We are going to be diving deep into that. We're going to talk about generative AI and prompt engineering as a part of this program. Plus, you will also get to attend academic masterclass by Virginia Tech instructors, and you will also be eligible for a LinkedIn alumni membership for continued networking opportunities even after completing this program with us. So these are some of the key highlights that we wanted to convey to all of you. You can definitely go to the course page and see a few more additional points and experiences of our previous learners as well. All of this is available in the course page, so I'm not going to go in depth into all of that. Additionally, we wanted to talk to you about the program advantage that this specific program has when compared to all the other programs out there. So I think, Tim, it would be great if you could just share a few points with our audience on how this could be helpful to them.
I'll go from the left-hand side to the right-hand side and speak just a minute or two on each one of them. This is not just exam preparation. Exam preparation shows not just what's right, what's good practice, but it also shows what's a good attitude and a good mindset for this type of work too. Um, but that's not just all it is. This is actual practical application. We're looking at going into, real world projects that people have written about and understanding what goes wrong and what goes right and how these people manage the issues through it. Um, it focuses on decision making, which is critical. I advise anybody, if you want to stay relevant, watch the people around you in your corporation or organization who make good decisions. It's the critical thinking, it's the analysis, and being able to say, I don't have enough information, but with the information I have today, how do I make today's decision that I may be able to add to tomorrow? And then we have not just project management, but project management in different industries, in different scenarios, being impacted by different things. Because again, you're going to be a project manager and there may come a time in the future. How do I manage things like a nationwide lockdown as a project manager. And we need to have that discussion in the classroom as well as something that's built in the material. And then finally, leadership and stakeholder depth. Know not just the people around you who do the work, but know the decision makers and the people who are influencing the direct of the corporation. Listen to them and observe them. And this is what we try to bring into the classroom. And then finally, looking at this not just as I'll have a PMP at the end, but I have a roadmap that I can consistently maintain for the rest of my career.
Thank you for explaining all the advantages that one may have if they choose this program and how it can also help them. It has been really helpful. So I'll move on to the skills and projects that are covered as a part of this program. I'm not going to go in depth into all of these skills because Tim has already covered these in the previous slides. So some of the skills you can see on the screen are project management, agile management, organization skills, digital transformation, cost management. So we are going to be covering all of this as a part of this program. And again, like I said, you can go check it out in the course page as well. You will see a set of skills and the tools you will be working with. Everything is clearly mentioned there. One other point I wanted to discuss with Tim or would like Tim's thoughts on are the projects. So the on screen we have just mentioned four of the projects that we will be covering as a part of the program. Tim, what are your thoughts on how important projects are, especially in the field of project management, right? So when they're planning to transition, could these be helpful to them, or how can they use these projects if they are someone who's new to the field?
When we're designing classes and when we look at how to help students get the most out of classes, we want students to get their hands on the knowledge and play with it and practice it because it's in practice that we learn, not just the memorization and connecting the dots. And so these projects give you a hands-on experience. And these actually give you a broad understanding of having a car sharing business, and we have a startup there, and with an ERP implementation, that's software conversion and transformation. And then we have blockchain, and then we have quality and what happens when a corporation says we're embracing quality. What's the role of the project manager in that? And that's how's it going to impact my job and the direction my career is going to go for the next 3 years. And so these give you a really good understanding of real world applications and playing with it to where you can actually not just understand it, but you can really embrace it.
Yes, thank you for explaining that, Tim. And you clearly highlighted how projects can be of great help even on course completion and how they can approach difficulties or any problems that they may encounter even after the course as project managers, right? So here on the screen is what is covered under the curriculum. We've just highlighted the main points. So Tim, could you just briefly mention what they can expect as a part of this program if they choose to opt in?
So it's going from the fundamentals of project management through different methodologies, not just traditional, but also adaptive and hybrid models. It's looking at the human element. It's looking at something we didn't talk about today, quality and risk, which are really important for this. I believe that not enough people, whether they're certified or not, focus on these two characteristics that make project management really valuable. And then again, what are the relevant tools today and what are the applications? Where can I use this? You're building a toolkit in this program that you can apply. And all of this is aligned with what Project Management Institute says is good practice.
Right. Thank you so much for that. We have covered the curriculum as well here, and I have a few questions about the course details further. So the program investment for this specific course for Indian learners, the course fee is 97,999, and you have the option to pay in installments as low as 4,388 rupees per month. And for anyone who's interested from the US, the course fee is $2,800, and you also have the option to pay this in installments. So we covered all the major points through the webinar, and I see a few questions related to specifically to this course. So I'm going to quickly launch a poll. If you are interested in enrolling for the course, what you can do is you can click on a yes, and our team will reach out to you to share more details and insights on this, because again, in the interest of time, we will not be able to gain a lot answer a lot of your questions related to the program. You can also probably scan this QR code to visit the course page and understand what is covered as a part of this program, right? So as you all are basically answering the poll, I'll just quickly share a few questions with Tim from the audience side. So yes. Uh, so there was this question, Tim. So can project management possibly help someone in data analytics job?
Okay,
Can this help them?
yeah,
Yeah,
I can clarify this. It'll take me 2 or 3 minutes. Yes,
yeah,
yes. Because again, data analytics is being applied in so many different ways than it ever has been before. And what we're going to find out is that data analytics in itself is not going to be a job or or a skill set. It's going to be part of a toolkit that everybody is. That's the 21st century. We are knowledge workers. And so as you're looking at data analytics, if you're curious about it, please read up on it, find out what people are saying about it, and invest in understanding that.
correct. I hope that answers your question. Um, we also have a few more questions, so I will quickly end this poll here. And I see a few questions about the certification or certificate of participation. So once I launch that poll, we are going to move into the Q&A section where we are going to address all of your questions again. So for the certificate, I am again launching a poll. All you have to do is fill up your full name, and you will be receiving this slide deck, the recording, to your email ID once you fill up your full name. I hope the poll is visible to all of you. Yes, I can see responses come in. And as you guys are responding to the poll, I will share questions with Tim. Tim, I think Sakshi had this question from, she posted this sometime back also. So she has experience in customer success management, and she has been working in this role since 6 years. It's a role that involves customer retention, consulting, sales, and support. Which project management role would be most appropriate for me based on this experience?
So
That's it.
Sakshi, yeah, Sakshi, it sounds like you have been gaining experience and knowledge and confidence in change management, and that works really well. That does not say that, scope, schedule, cost, quality, and risk are to be discounted. It's to say that you may be for some reason drawn to this work. And what I would suggest is if it's really interesting, follow change management and where it takes you, and add the other project management skills that you have along the way as you go through. And I do want to speak to also Sudarun. With a health break of 25 years, you're running a technology startup. Yeah, after Project Management Institute is very sensitive to these things. We all have gaps in our careers and our jobs. And it's not the gaps that are important, but what you do outside of the gaps and what you do while you're in that gap. How do you actually prepare yourself? Let's see here. Yeah.
Yes. Um,
Oh, there was a question early on that I captured about the PMP exam itself that I wanted to address also. Most of the questions are situational. That's true. 80 to 85% of the questions on the exam put you in the seat of a project manager, and you have to make project decisions. There's not a lot of math. 2 to 3 questions that are math related, and they're very simple math problems. They don't want you to focus on math. They want to focus on the decision making. ITTO focus right now. Actually, the exam is saying it's more important to think about project management as business leadership and process. And that's what the exam has been. And they're going to be minor tweaks here in the middle of the year, but that's what's going to look at. Ethics is a big part. And we cannot talk enough about ethics, whether we're in webinars here or whether in classrooms or the work environment. It's so important.
Right. Thank you for answering all of those questions. So I just want to quickly tell everyone that I am ending the poll here. For anyone, I can see a few of you mentioning that the poll is not visible to you. If that is the case, please mail us at webinars@simplilearn.net with your name, and we will share the certificate and the recording with all of you. Yes, so there's a question about the recording. If you have filled up the poll, you will receive it. If you did not see the poll, like I mentioned, you can mail us and you will receive the recording and the certificate as well. Right, so that also brings us to the end of today's webinar. I would like to take this time to thank Tim for such a wonderful session. It was great to hear from you. Your insights were amazing. So, Tim, before we wrap up, could you share one piece of advice with our audience? They have stayed till the end. Such great participation, also, I must say. So, what are some tips or advice that you can give them?
It's obvious that you're curious and concerned about your future and the world around you. Follow that, pursue that, please do. Um, it's 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 a different world. It's not the end of what we see. It's going to be different. And whenever society's gone through this, we always come out a little bit better. Remember that. Learn about world history. We've gone through certain things as well. Um, Keep the education fires really warm inside you, because one of the things that's going to keep you in a job is going to be continuously learning and being really relevant, not just with the world around you, but with what you know is right or wrong. Connect to your values, and use that as your North Star or your reference point. And I think you'll do well.
Thank you for that wonderful advice, Tim. As always, it was great having you. I really enjoyed hosting this webinar, and I would also like to take this time to thank all of you for staying back till the very end. It was wonderful having you all. Such
Yeah.
great and engaged audience, I must say. One of the best webinars that I think for me personally. So thank you all for staying till the end. Wonderful seeing all of you. If you have any questions, any feedback, please share it with us at webinars@simplilearn.net. And I really hope to see all of you in the upcoming webinars as well. So thank you all so much. See you all. Hope you have a wonderful day ahead. If you're joining from India, thanks for staying back so late. So thank you.